All right, so the big question is, why are American refiners or anybody still buying Russian energy products? 650,000 barrels per day of Russian oil. Really? Joining us now, Alex Gray, former National Security Council Chief of Staff. Welcome back, Alex. Alex, I don't understand why the administration, here's the news today. Nancy Pelosi has joined with Joe Manchin in calling for an end to importing Russian oil. And the White House is opposed to it. They've got a bill out. They're co-sponsoring it. Manchin, the Democrat, Lisa Murkowski, the Republican. Now you got the Speaker. And the White House says, no, it's okay. We'll keep importing Russian oil. How do you figure that, Alex Gray?
Well, Larry, it's totally inexplicable, but it's a piece with what the administration has done with the radical left-wing energy agenda. We've seen almost 10% cuts in production since the Trump administration bequeathed the Biden administration American energy independence. And when you look at what's happened in the year since President Trump left office, we've seen the destruction of American energy independence that he created, and that gave us this incredible foreign policy leverage that translated into the most secure, stable global order that the United States had seen since the fall of the Berlin Wall. And in the time that Joe Biden has sat in the Oval Office, we have seen not just the destruction of American energy independence, but directly translated into a more dangerous, unstable world. And the fact that they're refusing to take such a simple step that even Nancy Pelosi understands is just common sense really says something about the extent of the radicalism of this administration.
Well, it's amusing to me to some extent. I mean, there's nothing amusing about the big story of Russia in Ukraine, don't get me wrong. But you've got, I mean, I would say Ms. Pelosi, I'm not going to question her patriotism at all. I don't need to do that. I'm just saying that the greenies, you know, and the climate people would like to cut off all oil anyway. So that point of view merges with the, you know, I'll call them the hawks, if you will, who want to damage Russia and stop their financing of their war machine. But there is, Alex, there is self-sanctioning going on. Even though the Biden administration is leading from behind on sanctioning Russian oil companies, just like they always lead from behind, you see a lot of self-sanctioning, a lot of big oil companies, some big refiners, even some banks in America and Europe refuse to touch the Russian oil story. I'm just trying to figure out who the culprits are. I know it's a very hard thing to figure. The Russian oil goes into the East Coast, some of it goes into the Gulf, a lot of it goes to California. But I'd like to see self-sanctioning, or more of it. I mean, let's not touch this. We don't really need that, okay? The oil prices are up. It's $110 a barrel. There's nothing you can do about that. You know what I'm saying? Just go ahead and, you know, do it. Here, $108, down $2 today. But self-sanctioning, I like that. That's the question I'm asking you. Will there be more of it?
Well, I think, Larry, you know, that probably will continue. I mean, one of the things, the solution here is really to go back to the fundamentals of how the United States leverages its unique natural resources to build a buffer against global instability. And that's the drilling, the leasing, all the things that President Trump was so effective at doing in our domestic energy. I mean, we can be energy independent well into the 22nd century if we tap our domestic sources of energy. We don't have to worry about being dependent on Russian instability, Iranian ayatollahs. All of that is totally incidental as long as we focus on the fundamental American geopolitical advantage, which is our energy. And the Biden administration so far, I think for ideological reasons, has refused to do that.
Yeah, I think in an administration that's made a mistake after mistake, I think, Alex, I think the single biggest mistake they made was taking us from energy independence to energy dependence on Russia. And so you could pull in Saudi Arabia, but Saudi Arabia is not going to invade. It's Russia. I mean, I think that may have been geopolitically, that may have been the biggest single mistake. So, Alex, I want to talk about some political news. You were doing some radio with my pal Hugh Hewitt. My friend Senator Jim Inhofe is retiring, and you're thinking about throwing your hat into the ring for a Senate race. You're from Oklahoma. You went to Oklahoma State. Come on, Alex. You're going to declare for the Senate on the Kudlow Show?
Well, Larry, I've been incredibly humbled and gratified by all the people across my home state who've reached out and encouraged me to run. I'm a fourth-generation Oklahoman, OSU cowboy. I'm not a professional politician. Larry, we served together in the Trump White House. I'm a national security guy. This isn't something that I ever foresaw. But when I look at the world that we're facing today, when I look at the difference between the world that we saw when you and I left the White House on January 20th, 2021, when we walked out of Donald Trump's West Wing, look at the world as it was then compared to what Joe Biden has done to the state of this country and the effects that that's had globally in just a little over a year. So I have to say, Larry, I'm giving it some thought. I'm going to seek the former president's advice and counsel. I have to say, his agenda, the America First agenda, is extraordinarily popular in the state of Oklahoma. He's the most popular person probably in the history of the state. And so I'm going to be looking and seeing what his thoughts are and making a decision very soon.
Sounds pretty good to me. You know, I know you're not a professional politician, but that little OSU cowboy thing you pulled in there, that's Oklahoma State cowboy. Ooh, that's good. That's good. Keep that up. Could go far with that. Alex Gray, you've been a great help to this show anyway. We'll talk some more about your Oklahoma Senator on